So in the last video we covered Boolean and absolute. So let's continue. Oh. So wow. So in this particular stage now, we are giving a button for absolute. So that was what we were trying to write. The function that we wrote in the last video, which was the absolute video, now they've given us a button to do the function for us, which is the ABS button, absolute value of -7. So when you put anything negative into this absolute, it's going to give you a positive value. And also, if you put in a positive value, it's going to give you a positive value, just like what we achieved in our last video. So let's continue. So we are giving a pattern. So we are giving the same pattern we were given last time: +1, +1, -0, -2, +2. So let's continue. We've seen this pattern before. So now, instead of us now writing the same thing we wrote in the past video, we just use the function. Now we have this key called function. So it's the one encapsulating all the functions that we can use. So we click on it, we see the absolute function. We only have one key function now, so we can use it to write our code. So instead of us writing the if statement we wrote the last time, you can just use the absolute button. So to achieve, then we can use absolute input. It's going to give us the same result we achieved last time. You see, act successful. So let's move into the next puzzle. So now I think we've reached the end of this chapter. This is chapter 1. We're giving +5 Aka coin. So congratulations, hooray! So let's go to the next chapter. So in this chapter now, this is high school hack. So the 16-year-old kid is now in high school, or so here you are with your cool hack pad and a lot of time on your hands. Your grades are not so good, so let's just use this hack pad to give them a little boost. So you want to, give your grade a little boost. A high school grading system cannot be that hard to hack with this thing. So we want to hack into the school so that we can, change our grade from C or F to B or A. So these are just illustrations or motivations for us to actually play the game. We are not actually hacking yet, or we are not actually breaking into a school system yet. But at the end of the day, or the end goal, after you've learned a lot of all this, you should be able to hack into your school system. I'm just joking. But let's get into the puzzle. So we are infiltrating, trying to get a pattern. Now we are giving some other keys into the keyboard. You see our keyboard is getting bigger and bigger. Starting from input plus or minus, now we are getting a lot. Now we have while, var a, var b. Man. So what this var a, var b, var underscore a, var underscore b means is they are variables. We can use them to declare variables. They're just like alphabet A, B that we can use to declare variable. They don't actually have anything in them. Why this Y key is the way it's a loop. It's something we can use to create a loop. So just the way we have it in the programming, if you don't know what a loop is a way we can use to iterate or use to repeat something over and over again under a particular condition. So that is what a loop is. So this we have this first key now to create our loop. We have our variables to create variables. So let's see how it is being used. You see, increment 8 times. Increment 8 times. While var a is less than 8, var a plus plus. In the previous video, we were given a plus plus button to increment a particular variable by 1. So we have a variable a That means we've declared variable a somewhere before this line. Then we are now saying while variable a is less than 8, variable a plus plus. That means it should increment by 1. It should increase by 1. So by the time variable a is now 8, this line of code will no longer run again. It will jump to another line of code. So that is what this thing is saying, is a loop to run under this particular condition that a variable a is less than 8. So let's continue and see the pattern. So we are given this pattern. We are given 2, output 4, 3 should output 9, 4 should output 16. Looking at this pattern now, to me, I'm just looking at it and say, okay, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16. So we are dealing with a square root. So we see here in the title, it is power. Always look at the title. So power, so 2 raised to power 2 is 4, 3 raised to power 3 raised to power 2 is 9, 4 raised to power 2 is 16. So we are raising everything to power 2 to give us this output, so like a square. So let's start playing the game. So now we have all these keys right here. So how do we achieve this pattern? By getting this result. So we are giving 4 2 3 4 to achieve 4 9 16. So what do we do here? So we can do something like, let's think. To me, I can get the answer straightforward, but the purpose of this is to also make you think in a programming or in a logical way. So if we do 4, we only have, if we look at our function, we don't have any more than absolute. If we look at, we have input, var, return, we don't have any other thing again to use. So if we have input, we have plus, minus, we don't have multiplication. We have equals, we don't have multiplication to use. So we have to use another method, which is the y function that we were given. So that is what we have to use. So let's think in a way to do it. So let's create a variable. Variable a equals our input. So we don't want to tamper with our input, so we have variable a. So this variable a, we've kept it, so equals our input. So if input is 4, variable a is also 4. So you see we have the output 4 here already, but it's not the goal that we need. So what we want to do now is to increment variable a. So what do we now do? How do we increment variable a to the stage that variable a is going to give us 16? You get now? So let's do something like, let's declare another variable. I'm thinking, let's declare another variable. Variable b equals 0. So we have variable b equals 0. Like I said before, the last line is always returned as the output. You see that we have 0 as the output. So let's create a loop that is going to give us the output from 4 to 16. So I will say while variable b is less than input. So if you have your pen and paper there, we are trying to loop different times, like 4 times. Like for example, now we have the input 4. So how do we achieve 4 to 16? We say 4 times 2 equals 16, and we can also say 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. That means 4 times. If you add 4 times, we will achieve 16. So that means we have to create a loop that is going to let us add 4 to this 4, add another 4 to this 4, add the final 4 to this 4 to create 16. So now that our variable b equals 0, we can now say the first time that this loop will run, it will add 4 to our variable a. The second time it will run, it will add another 4 to variable a. The third time it will add 4 to it, and the fourth time it's going to add 4 to it, which is going to give us 16. Isn't that amazing? So let's try it. Now all we have to do is variable a plus no, let's clear it. Variable a equals variable a plus input. So the first time we are going to run this loop is going to say variable a is 4 now. It's now saying equals 4 plus 4 will give us the output 8. The second time it's going to run it, it's going to say now variable a is now 8 plus 4 is now 12. The third time is going to run. Keep in mind that this loop is going to run 3 times, or it's going to run, it's going to run 4 times rather. So the third time is going to run is going to say variable a, which is now 12 plus 16 plus 4, it will now give us 16. So instead of us doing from 0, let's just do from, no, let me think, let's count it. 1, the first time is going to run 0. Then we have to increment b. Don't forget that. We have to increment b. Let's do enter b plus plus, else we are going to run into infinity loop. So let's do b plus plus, which is going to increment our b. So the first time is going to run while b is 0. B is 0 is less than 4. It's going to say a plus input. So either we make b 1 or we make a 0. So let me make a 0 so that it can be easier for us. So I said 0, not 1. 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay. So we have a, variable a equals 0, variable b equals 0. So the first time this thing is going to run is going to give us variable a equals, this one is going to be 0 plus 4. B is going to increment by 1. So the second time b equals 1 is still less than input, is still less than 4. Now variable a is 4 plus 4, making 8. B is going to increment. So the third time b is now 2. 2 is still less than 4. So now variable a is 8 plus 4, making 12. Variable b is going to increment to 3. 3 is still less than 4. So 3 is less than 4. So variable a is 12. So variable a is 12 plus 4, making 16. So now variable b is going to increment to 4. By the time it comes back and say variable b, 4 is less than 4, is no, is a false. So this program is not going to run again. So it's going to jump to the next line of code. So this next line of code now will be our output. So our output will now be what we are going to return to this output here. So let's return variable a. So when we return variable a, you see that our hack is successful. So let's go back and view our code and explain better. So the first thing we did was assigned value to variable a equals 0, assign value to variable b equals 0. So we create a loop. So we create this loop. This loop is going to run if variable a, if our input is 4, this loop is going to run 4 times. So we are going to add input 4 times to our variable a, which is 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, making 16. So our variable a is going to be 16, and we are going to return it to the output. So if you don't understand, you can go back again and go through it again. Sorry for declaring variable a as input earlier. It's part of programming too. You get to look at your code and refactor if it doesn't work well. So I hope you understand and enjoy this video. This video is longer than expected, so not as I think is the explanation that is actually longer. So I hope you enjoy this video. See you in the next video.